it doesn't mean that it goes away completely. Okay. Like, I'm somebody who don't think I have social anxiety now, but the other day I was invited to a party and I noticed myself making excuses as to why I wouldn't go, because it's not my usual group that I hang around with in the school that I work with. There's some other colleagues. And yeah, anxiety is your body's warning to pay attention, but we just get, sometimes we pay attention to the wrong things, or it's not, it's okay to be, oh, this could be dangerous, but then you need to follow up with, is it though?
Is it dangerous though? Is it?
Yeah.
Or are you just a little bit scared because it's unknown? You have to ask yourself that.
A bit uncomfortable, this stuff you end up manifesting through your own behavior because of your thought patterns. So it's so important that we are in control of the way we think, because we get to choose what we think. We get to choose how to view something. So it doesn't mean that it goes away completely. Okay. Like, I'm somebody who don't think I have social anxiety now, but the other day I was invited to a party and I noticed myself making excuses as to why I wouldn't go, because it's not my usual group that I hang around with in the school that I work with. There's some other colleagues. And I realized it wasn't, I was making excuses because I was falling back into the past, where I'm like, well, unless I walk in the room with somebody I know, I'm not going to be okay. And I realized, actually, this is a safe way to take a step forward. I can walk into that room because I know those people. I talk to them. I say hello to them in the morning. I may not have lunch with them. I may not meet them normally out of school, but it doesn't mean that I can't go and hang out with them, because they're great people. And I've been on other nights out and they've also been there. So I know it's going to be fine. But my initial response was to not have that experience. And then what that would happen then is it would be bigger. So then next time I got an invite, I would be even less likely to go, So it is uncomfortable working through anxiety. You have to be out of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone is keeping you trapped in it. Yeah. Because it doesn't feel
nice. It's a simple thing. Like, when I was stuck in the house for almost a year, with that fear-based entity and that anxiety, I was afraid to even stand outside my front door. I was, really, really, really anxious. And, after that, then I started to venture out a little bit more. I might, go to more than one shop, rather than just do my regular shopping. And then even I'd done the scary thing of going to the cinema. The whole place was empty, but I was still anxious. But I've done that every year since. And I'm like, yeah, I'm more confident every time, because who cares? You're going to do something on your own. Who cares? You don't have to be with people all the time. You know what I mean? And often, a lot of the time, it's like, oh, look at the weirdo, she's on her own. Who cares? I don't care what people think. It's nice to do things on your own. So it's lovely to step outside your comfort zone and, just take that leap and do something that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Because if it, feel the fear and do it anyway is the one quote, but the only way out of fear is actually through it. You know what I mean? The fear isn't going to go away until you do the thing.
Yeah, the only way out, as we say this all the time, the only way out of the storm is through
and that's the thing, even just the anxiety around doing projects or assignments. For my course there the other day, I was so scared to do this assignment. And I was like, no, right, I'm just going to take these out. There's 4 different sections. I'm going to do one section at a time. But the day I actually went to do it, I ended up doing 2 sections because it wasn't that scary. The anxiety to do the task is worse than the task itself. And then you do the task and you're like, oh, I actually enjoy this. You know what I mean? It's really, it's crazy. And the same time I went to
it's just like when Ben would be on the top of the slide, wanting to go down, but too scared to go down. And eventually Elliot would go down about 5 times. And eventually he'd go. And after that one time, he'd be like, yay, that was great. I want to go again. And always. And it's even like when we come to, when I'm thinking about, I don't feel like this these days, but I used to always be like, oh, on a Sunday night, week at work, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do that. Always the thought of doing it is a 10 billion times worse than the reality.
Yeah, I hate Mondays every week, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's changed your mindset, reframe it. Like, I used to start loving Mondays, I'd be tired, I'd be wrecked after the weekend, but Monday is the same as every other day. It's just called Monday. You know, the way I used to frame it was Monday is the worst day of the week, but Tuesday is the second worst day. No, yeah, the second worst day of the week. Wednesday is the was it I don't know, I had a system. So, you know, you get as far as Monday, you get Monday over and done with. Tuesday is like the next day, but Wednesday is nearly the weekend. All this time, I had a system in my mind, and every day actually just seemed easier. But it is changing mindset. Instead of feeling dread about something, start to change it, and just say, I'm looking forward to this. And then when you look forward to it, it actually becomes easier.
Yeah. So I to turn that around, I would think about on each day something that I particularly, it's like gratitude again. So instead of thinking, oh God, it's Monday, it's the first day of the week, I've got a whole week ahead of me, I think, well, on Monday, I don't have a playground duty. So I really like Mondays. It's a nice, gentle way to start the week. I can sit and have a little coffee and just tidy my desk up while the children are outside. It's nice to have that little break. Whereas the other days, I'm out on playground duty. So, and it's finding tiny little things that you can go, actually, I like Mondays because I don't have to do playground duty on Monday. So it's nice to just have a sit and a chill. It's a nice break. And focusing on that, because we get to choose what to focus on. I could focus on, oh, it's the first day of the week, which means I've got 5 whole days of having to go into work when I'd rather be at home and hanging around at home and doing a lot less. You know, it's, oh, Monday's good because of this. Tuesday's good because of that. Yeah, and that's kind of what you were saying, isn't it?
It's it's what I was saying, but I said it really weird there. Yeah, it is exactly what you're saying. It's just find one good thing in the thing, and then you're like, yes, that you know, just make you know, find the love in the situation, find the positive in the situation, you know, find the gratitude in the situation. You're getting to go to work. That's another thing with language.
Yeah,
I've always said this before. I have to do this, but you know, for example, like, you know, map out your day. I have to get up in the morning. I have to have a shower. I have to brush my teeth. I have to go to work. That's no. Change it. I get to. Not many people get to get up in the morning. I get to eat my breakfast. I get to brush my teeth. I get to go to work. I get to, you know, go shopping, or I get to spend time with my, you know, with people or whatever. You know, you get to. This is it. Like, when you change it, you don't have to do these things. You're getting to. You're lucky enough to have the privilege to have these things in your life. Yeah. We take such things for granted, and we have anxiety. Well, that's another thing. We have anxiety around things that are fucking just silly things. You know, really silly. And it's like, is it the end of the world? Is it going to affect you in 5 years' time, or is it going to kill you? That's what I kept saying to myself, because it's just like, we were, you know, bitching about stuff that doesn't need that kind of energy. Yeah. It's not stuff that's bad at all. It's not the end of the world. It's not a health issue, or it's not, you know, one of the worst case scenario things. It's actually such a minuscule, tiny little pain that we're getting so angry or anxious about, and we're like, does it really need that kind of energy? You know, when you actually think about it, things aren't really that bad.
No.
You know what I mean? We could have it an awful lot worse. We have to start being grateful for how good we have it, and stop concentrating on the tiny things that aren't even that bad.
So Mara used to said anxiety is a coping mechanism that something is happening within. Yeah, anxiety is your body's warning to pay attention, but sometimes we pay attention to the wrong things, or, you know, it's okay to be, oh, this could be dangerous, but then you need to follow up with, is it though?
Is it dangerous though? Is it?
Yeah.
Or are you just a little bit scared because it's unknown? You have to ask yourself that.
It's a bit uncomfortable, you know?
And that's what I've been doing with the things that I've been starting that are new. Like, it's just like, am I actually, you know, am I wrong here? Is this not for me? Or am I just a little bit scared to jump out of my comfort zone? Yeah. Am I anxious for a reason, or am I just in an imposter syndrome? Do you know, I have to ask myself that. And an awful lot of the time it is, you know, imposter syndrome. And then I do the thing and I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually do like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just like me being on this, I didn't even like photos being taken of me, you know? I wouldn't have, I don't think I've even been doing it a year, and now I'm not I'm not at all bothered. And that's because I just did it, even
Yeah.
though it felt uncomfortable, even though it was scary, you know, even though I didn't know how it was going to be received or what people would say or whatever. I was like, I'm just gonna do it, you know, and I'll
Feel the
just
fear and just do it.
do it anyway. It's a
Yeah.
great book, actually, if you suffer from
It's
anxiety.
really good. Yeah. I remember I told you when I was first given or requested or suggested that book by a psychiatrist back when I was about 19 or 20. And I opened the first couple of pages and I read the line "depression isn't real," and I shut the book and I said, "Fuck you! You can't tell me how I feel." And I didn't read the book again until I was in my 30s. I kept it though,
Yeah.
and then when I read it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is such a good book! If I'd have read it 10 years ago, God knows what would have happened."
Yeah.
But it really is. I'm like, you know, when I was doing videos as well, the first time I did them, I was absolutely, you know, shaken. My voice was shaken. I was so nervous, but I had such a passion for what I needed to speak on. And like, you know, some of those videos are still in the very bottom of my Instagram. You know, I left them there, but like, I was really scared, and the camera was off angle, like lazy eye and everything. But the whole point was to get the message out. And now I love doing videos. I bet that's what gets me up in the mornings. You know, I can wake up in a grumpy mood, and I do my recorded videos, and I'll be buzzing after it. It sets me up for the day. And like to remember the person who was afraid, so afraid of the camera, so afraid. And now I don't even get that anxiety anymore because it's a part of who I am. And that's because I pushed through the fear. The fear wasn't going to go away until I started practicing.
Yeah.
And now the fear is
you
there.
have to, and this is also important. So people can have fear around traumas and stuff, but if it's, some people have fear of failure, and the only surefire way to ensure failure is to not try, you know?
That's exactly it. I said that lately. It's like the only way we can fail is by not doing the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, once you try, you will actually be excited and you'll do it again. But you have to try. You're the only way, you're the only thing that can get in your way if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And it just...
You have to let go of perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Even if you've done it 1 billion times, it might not be perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't have to be perfect. All it has to be is your best shot, and then you need to learn from it. You know,
Yeah.
you need to take the feedback. You need to see how you can make it better. You need to practice more, and eventually you just get better at it.
Yeah.
You know,
and
so
you get confident. And I'm like, you know, that happened to me when I was working in a factory job. You know what I mean? I didn't know I could ask for help, and I was bullying. Jeez, I hated these jobs. It was so hard, so hard. And I did them on my own, and I mastered all of them. And that's what helped me, you know, when I started doing creativity or anything like that. It was like, if I was able to perfect something that I thought I couldn't do, just because I didn't give up, it means I have the potential to perfect anything once I don't give up. So that's the thing. Try the thing, don't give up, and you can be the master at anything you want. It really is that simple. Don't let fear stop you from reaching your dreams, because oftentimes that anxiety is just trying to keep you stuck in that caveman mentality. You know what I mean? It's like, stay in the cave or you're going to die. But you're not going to fucking die. We're living in a different time, people. You can get out of the cave. You know, it's freedom.
yeah, you'll never know what you're capable of unless you push out of you can't grow in your comfort zone. You fester. In fact, you don't even stay still. You regress in your
You
comfort
get worse.
zone.
Your brain doesn't work when you don't use it. It really doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? You actually end up becoming stupid if you don't use your brain. And that happened to me when I was in a toxic codependent relationship in my 20s. I effectively became stupid because I lost all ambition and all sense of life. And that happened to me, I suppose, when I left family members and friends between 21 and 23. I was getting to the stage where I wasn't using my potential. So I was literally losing all sense of who I was. My brain, my abilities, my shine. And, you know, you have to break out of that. If you know, that's detrimental for your mental and physical well-being. You're going to disappear completely if you allow that to happen. Get the fuck out, jump onto that new boat. And like, you know, you're going to be stretched. You're going to feel that stretch, like one leg on the past and one on the future. You're going to feel stretched, but jump onto the new thing. You really, you don't know what you're missing out on until you actually try.
Absolutely. Sometimes you just got to take the leap, haven't you? The leap of faith. So we are 55, 56 minutes in. So I thought maybe we could finish with 5 things. We might have talked about them already. My number one, absolutely 100% meditation. Use binaural beat meditations, right? For at least 10 minutes a day. You can get them free off YouTube. You listen to them through your headphones, and I guarantee that by the end of the week you will be feeling better. You will not necessarily cured in a week, but you will absolutely notice the difference if you do it every day for a week. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, you will begin to feel differently. 2 is make sure that you have a bag of tools for if you're going to have an anxiety attack. So what things are you going to do in that moment? Oh, I didn't mention this, but actually what my sister did with me is she got me to put my hand on my so I could feel my pulse, or she got me to use her pulse because her pulse was slower because I was panicking. And she made me concentrate on her pulse, and that brought me down. So that's another nice one. If you're trying to help somebody who is having an anxiety attack, letting them feel your pulse if you're feeling calm can really help it bring their pulse rate down. So that's a nice little tool. But also breathing's a really good one. Using your senses, anything that brings you into the now. If you've got your problem solving thinking brain working and you're not in full fight flight, it is debunking that you need to do. You need to think, is this about now or is this about something else that happened? And you can use mantras that you've pre-prepared, or you can use curiosity. Curiosity is a great thing. Reframing's another one. What are we on now? Maybe 4. What could the 5th one be?
Gratitude and love. Think of the things that you love. Think of the things that you're grateful for. Just change the scenario. If you're going into a spiral, just ask yourself, what do I love right now? Just concentrate on the things you love, not the things you fear. You know, when you can manifest, you know, good things into your life if you think of them with love. You know, stop concentrating on what you're afraid will happen and start to imagine what you want to happen. And that will actually help.
Yeah. So don't be thinking about all the doom and gloom in the future, because the future is now is what affects the future. So if you sit here and think everything terrible is going to happen, and then it'll start becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. Just simply in your behavior, it'll become if you think there's a problem with your health and you start reading health issues, then you are going to start feeling or looking for, your body is going to select the information that tells you you've got that terrible thing that's going to kill you in a year's time. That's what happened to me. Or if it's that people are gonna not like you, you know, then once again, you're not a mind reader. And if you are going into a social situation in a way where you feel like people don't like you, you will be in a closed off pose and people will not find you approachable. You know, this stuff you end up manifesting through your own behavior because of your thought patterns. So it's so important that we are in control of the way we think, because we get to choose what we think. We get to choose how to view something. So often, like, somebody might say something and you might be, oh, I don't think they really meant it. You know, somebody apologizes, oh, I don't think they really meant it. Well, unless you're going to ask them for clarification, you get to choose which one's better for your mental health, which one's better for you, which one's going to move you forward, you know, which one works for you. And often we don't choose the one that does. Often we like to think the worst. Try thinking the best of other people.
Exactly. Let's think best case scenario. Like, instead of saying it can go wrong, say it can go right. You know, that's another report. Don't be. Stop concentrating on what can go wrong and start getting excited about what can go right.
Yeah.
Change that. Change it. There is so much excitement in your future. If you don't stop worrying. Just stop worrying about it. You're worrying about something. You're creating something to worry about. Start just thinking positive all the time. People. We have spoken about toxic positivity, but like that's not what we're saying here. You can literally change your life by changing your thoughts. Change the way you look at things, and things you look at change, which is on full post. But like, you know what I mean? There's just so much we can do. We just change our perception. It really is, like, you know.
And when it comes to anxiety, not full-blown anxiety attacks, obviously, you can't go, oh, I'm feeling excited in that moment. You need to ground yourself and work through that.
Yeah.
But if it's anxiety in your thoughts, because, you know, you think, oh, maybe it's a bit of imposter syndrome, or maybe you think people are going to think badly of you, or whatever is causing, or you're not going to be able to do the workload. While either you're stuck there, if you're worried about your workload, while either you're stuck there in the future thinking, I'm not going to get the thing done, you're not actually doing the thing.
Exactly.
You're wasting time.
You're wasting time by not doing it. If I get the thing done, I'm, you know, it's, oh, that's procrastination. Like, yeah, do the thing.
You can make a plan, you know.
Yeah.
If you're out in the future, you can't make a plan for the now. You need to make a plan, make a step forward, go in the right direction.
Take everything step by step. But when we go into overload as well, it's really good to make a list of the things that you want to do, or just take it one step at a time. And I said this before, when I was in that stress mode, I did baby steps, but I broke the baby steps up into milli steps.
Yeah.
So I took tiny steps every day. And you know what? I still moved forward. And it wasn't as scary as taking one full step. It's just, you know, 1% of self-improvement every day can get you so far. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming or scary. You just need to move yourself forward a tiny bit.
And that's how they deal with phobias, isn't it? You know, like if you go for therapy for phobias, it's basically like, how much exposure to the thing that you're fearful of are you able to deal in one time? And it's like, do that much. And then keep doing that until then that doesn't feel challenging. And then push it a bit further. Always growing, always pushing. And if it's not a full-blown anxiety attack, if you can reframe that anxiety to excitement, then it'll just change things. You know, if you're like, oh, I'm feeling anxious. Oh, if you go, oh, I'm getting this feeling. I used to think this was anxiety or that I'm anxious, but actually, maybe I'm just excited because I know what's going to happen. You know, maybe something really great's going to happen. Yeah. So it is about building positive experiences, but we can't build positive experiences if we hide from them. So it's about pushing yourself a little bit each day. Yeah. Right. And so to finish, Teacher Mindset Matters. So we have a Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, called Teacher Mindset Matters. It's full of coaches from all different fields. I've actually got a nutritional coach in there who says that she's doing a special offer at the moment for a really, really great deal, helping with snacking or something. I can't remember exactly, but it's something to do with maybe reducing sugar or something. She's taking on a little group that she wants to work with, so it's a super time to jump in there because it's just an unbelievable deal. She's a professional nutritionist, and she's got this amazing deal on, so I would jump in there if I were you. Yeah, so she's in there, and we've got the lovely Mariusa, who is very knowledgeable, and she's great with transformational coaching and supporting parents with small children. We've got the lovely Angela, of course, myself, and many, many more. We've got so many different people in there, different coaches with different skills that can help you and give you advice. So please join us. Search Teacher Mindset Matters on Facebook. We're the only one. Right. I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Bye.